So anyway, this summer solstice 3-card reading, power, purpose, and the cycle of light. The very first card that I'm going to draw is going to answer the question, what am I being called to celebrate and honor at this peak of light? What am I being called to celebrate and honor at this peak of light, at this peak of sunshine? I hope the sun is shining wherever you're at. And if it's not, I hope it's shining in your heart and mind. Okay, so let's see the first card, the 7 of Pentacles. So you've come a long way, baby. This is the first thing that I want to say. You're really cultivating something with your life here, and let me take a minute to soak this in and think about the question. Yeah, I think it's really becoming clear what it is that you want to put your time into. Okay, and I think it's time to celebrate what it is that you're keeping and what you're growing and what you know to do, you know, what you've done over and over and over and over and over again. And your tenacity, you know, just your willingness to kind of start over, to cultivate something, to keep it going, and to watch over it. I know this is a little bit of an impatient card too, and you can celebrate that. You know, like I celebrate my impatience by dancing around the kitchen and just kind of counting down the microwave. You know, we can celebrate impatience by watching it grow right in front of us. I've been wanting to put like a camera in front of a plant that's growing. You know, we put it down a lot of seeds for that. And I feel like this is just about, you know, being really grateful for the clarity that you found, knowing what it is now that you want, who it is that you want to be, and knowing, you know, what to do to get to a better place. All right. So the light is just kind of burning out the bullshit, and it's saying, you know what, here's what you've already done. You know, here is what you've already cultivated in your life, and you know, it's time to either, you know, to just grow the good stuff, to remind yourself who you are. Gosh, that isn't even like really that is really specific, I think. Huh? Okay. So the second card, power, purpose, and the cycle of light. And this is definitely a cycle, you know, just watching something grow. I've been watching my plants grow. I've been watching things grow in my life. And watching them grow means also watching what I don't want to grow. You know, I can see that the weeds grow faster in my garden than the stuff that I plant, you know. So it's time to cut them down. It's time to get rid of them, you know, give them a proper burial and put them out in the compost. All right, second question is, what power in me is beginning to wane? And what must I release with grace? That's a long question. Let's just say, what's past its prime or becoming too intense? What's becoming too intense? That heat can sometimes be really intense. It makes people act all sorts of ways. You know, it might make somebody want to sleep, and it might make somebody feel desperate to get cooled off in whatever way that is. And sometimes it just makes you lose your mind. What's becoming too intense? Ace of Cups. Our emotions. And, you know, I'm going to say, like, if you're someone who drinks to help your emotions, whether that's to help you get happy or to, if you think it's making you less sad, yeah, it's becoming too intense. It's getting to be too much. What is also getting to be too much is just how easy it is for you to kind of just like overflow with emotions. Like I am that person that is always just genuinely enthusiastic about everything. And, you know, it's intense. Even if it's good, it's really intense, and it does create some anxiety, you know? So, Also, I want to say mix the sun and the water. It can get, pretty boiling. And I don't know why I'm down there yet, but I think it is to just kind of just watch that welling up of emotions. Okay. Whether it's good or bad, extra of it, overflowing of it can be a little bit too intense, and other people sharing their emotions with you, or putting their habits on you, whether it be drinking or overdoing and whatever, over consuming in whatever way. There's some light being shown on that for you, and it's becoming too intense. It's beginning to be too much. It's beginning to cost too much money. Like, you've done a lot to make this money, to figure out how to squirrel this away. We were just talking about, we weren't seeing any squirrels today because it's hot. But squirreling this away, so it can be pretty intense to feel overly joyful or overly angry. So that's what's feeling too intense right now. And then the third card in our summer solstice reading. Huh? Mel is being sweet and running the chat like a lovely human that she is. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to throw the third card to the summer solstice in just a second while Mel catches up. And if you are just catching up with me right here, hello, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to our channel so you can see when we go live again. I am at the third card of our summer solstice reading, and then I'm going to switch over and do a Cancer season reading for you. And I am Jennifer Rose with Rose Tarot and Astrology. You're good? All right. So the third question here in the summer solstice reading is, what should I nurture as the light begins to fade? As Mel said, and as I read what Mel said, as soon as this is the longest day of the year, so now we just get further and further away from the light at this point, right? So what should I nurture as the light begins to fade? I know a lot of people start getting sad because they understand this. And so what should I nurture? What should we nurture? It's in nurture. So Cancerian. Okay. Nurture. Well, I don't know. I think that we should just be kinder to ourselves when we really don't know the answer to something, or really don't know how we're going to get something done. Sometimes we just tie our own hands up and say that we can't do it or we can't think about it. But usually, kind of like me, as soon as the waitress takes everybody else's order, I know what I want. Okay. And so I think that you should, as far as what to nurture with this, sometimes being indecisive is a superpower. It allows you to see every side and every angle of something. And sometimes it prevents you from doing something that you may not really like maybe you haven't thought about it all the way through. So, if you can just give yourself a chance to think, a time to mediate it with yourself, being a little bit kinder to yourself as you start something new, as you begin again, whatever that means, and whoever this is for. Just be kind to yourself when you really don't know how to go or where to start, because that answer will come to you if you just get still and think about it. Think about what you really, really want. Okay? Being indecisive is a superpower. It gives you a clear, well-rounded view of what's really going on, and it will give you a great way to make a good decision for you, or the best decision that you can make for yourself in the moment, because we're all just out here doing our best, and my best is not going to be the same as yours, but just know that I'm doing my very best, and so is everyone else. Okay, so nurture that indecisiveness in yourself, because it is definitely some way that you can uncover and pull yourself out of a series of I don't know what I want to do, I don't know where to go, I don't know how to get this going, I don't know where to start. Just pace yourself. That's Nadia Shaw. Dang it. Pace yourself and be yourself. Such a big influence. I love it, but I'm just like, I want to be a little bit more like less imposterish feeling. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that concludes the 3 card reading for the summer solstice. I would say it is, you've got to nurture that part of you that's indecisive, that part of you that doesn't know what you want the most, because you already know, all right? And it's probably something that you don't want to do or that you're not really interested in, but maybe it's something that you're really good at. And I think that if you just lean into it, it will really be fulfilling for you. And you'll choose to, be the happier part of the Ace of Cups as opposed to, the grouchier part of the Ace of Cups. Because, whoo, when I get to sweating, like I start getting, I get angry. I don't know what you call that when you get sweaty. We should make up a word for that, but instead of hangry, swangry, sweatgry. I don't know, angry. But anyway, so I'm switching over. Hello, Tarot with Mahi. I'm switching over to the Cancer season 3 card tarot spread.